Anand Kumar won a mathematics championship tournament in 1996 at Patna, India. The Minister of Education also attended the ceremony, and during his address, he praised Anand Kumar for winning the championship. The minister's speech inspired Anand to think globally, because the globe isn't just full of Americans, British, Japanese, and Chinese. The minister was also committed to assisting anyone who needed it, both socially and economically, as long as the goal was to improve India. After the tournament, Anand went straight to his girlfriend, Supriya, and told her about his future ambitions to study at Oxford or Cambridge and pursue a PhD in mathematics. Anand has a strong passion for mathematics, and he even sent a love note to his lover in binary. Anand also frequently spends time in college libraries and other areas, solving math problems from foreign magazines. The librarian eventually caught him and kicked him out. At the time, an office boy told Anand that if he wanted to have free access to the campus for a year, he needed to write an essay that could be published in a foreign journal, so he could freely read all of the publications in the library. Of course, Anand benefited much from these recommendations, so he did not waste his time. He instantly began working on math problems that no one had before solved. Anand worked on the problem at an old school, and by the afternoon he had solved it. Then he went directly to the post office to send his article to England. Anand's father is a postman, and he always supports everything Anand does. For example, when Anand does not have enough money to send letters to England, the father urges his friends to contribute so that his son's articles can be delivered there. Anand's father was merely a postman, yet he taught Anand to dream big, even though they were a poor family. Anand's father rushed by on his bicycle one day, holding a letter. He returned home quite happy. He told his wife and children, including Anand, that the article he sent had impressed a professor there. As a result, Anand was awarded admission to Cambridge University without having to take any tests. Anand's emotions were mixed. Anand first intended to publish a paper in order to gain admission to the library. Following the publication of his magazine, he was granted a study in England without a test. Anand proudly showed it off to the librarian who had sent him out. Anand got his revenge, but in a favorable way. Not to mention, Anand thanked the office boy in the library, because to his advice, Anand was able to attain enormous success. Anand's parents were overjoyed. They had arranged everything for him. Especially Anand's father, who was in charge of Anand's passport, never stopped bragging about Anand's brilliance to others. Because of his achievements, Anand felt more comfortable meeting and getting to know Supriya's father. Supriya's father is still apprehensive because Anand is only a postman's son. On the other hand, Supriya's father recognizes Anand's greatness, who will study in England. However, Anand's family was experiencing financial difficulties before to his departure for England. The cost of preparing for Anand's trip to England was still insufficient. The goal was to seek assistance from the Minister of Education, as they remembered the minister's speech from the competition stage. Long story short, Anand and his father went to the Ministry of Education for assistance. Unfortunately, the minister did not hear Anand's story. Even so, he forgot his speech a few weeks ago. Anand and his father left dejected. The father promised his son that he would try again to raise finances so that Anand may pursue his goal. Anand's father kept attempting to find extra money. He even sold all of his wife's jewelry and borrowed money from the bank despite being turned down. Even he collects debts from his pals, but none of them lead to a solution. One night, the entire family was disappointed by the likelihood that Anand would not go for Cambridge. Unfortunately, at the same time, the father became unconscious. Anand and his brother rushed their father to the hospital by bicycle despite the heavy rain. Anand desperately wanted to save his father, but fate had different plans. His bicycle chain broke in the middle of the road, preventing his father from seeking assistance. Anand informed Supriya about his tragic fate. He also left Supriya to marry another guy since Anand believed he had no future to support his family. After his father died, Anand had to earn a livelihood by selling cakes on his father's bicycle. Anand appeared to have forgotten his fantasy as he wrapped the food in the sheets of his math book. The most important thing for Anand right now is to support his family's finances. Anand collapsed after nearly colliding with a car one afternoon. The car's owner is a wealthy man who knows Anand Kumar. Anand may not know the man, but he knows a bright and gifted child. He questioned how Anand Kumar, who was intelligent, could have a job selling cakes. It turns out that this man's name was Lalan Singh. Lalan instructed his chauffeur to deliver Anand's bicycle, and Anand was encouraged to enter the car as they drove to Lalan's opulent home. There Anand was offered a job. The most popular campus in India is the Indian Institute of Technology, or IIT. it is quite difficult to be accepted into that college. According to Lalun, wealthy individuals will pay everything to send their children to study there. As a result, the business of studying courses to attend campus is quite promising. And Lalun invited Anand to join his learning course firm, and Anand decided to join Excellence, Lalun's own learning center. Long story short, Anand became an instructor there. As a result, they were able to attract a large number of students and double their rates. Anand's economic circumstances changed. Now he may purchase his own motorcycle. Anand also gains confidence in having a connection with Supriya. In reality, Anand hired a housemate to help his mother rest. However, because he had a big salary, Anand, who was once humble, became forgetful. Anand forgot who he was, especially after becoming a learning center celebrity. After the party, Anand encountered a small child who was working on a math issue. This child dropped out of school, but his desire to learn remained strong, which piqued Anand's curiosity. Because he was a little drunk, Anand took a pedicab home, and the driver happened to be the little boy's father. The pedicab driver stated that his son was quite stubborn because his duty was to study rather than help his parents. Anand was astonished to hear that statement, and the man further stated that only wealthy people have the right to educate, but poor people like them will be useless. The children of politicians and wealthy officials will serve and rule this country in the future, whilst impoverished people like them will never have the opportunity. The pedicab driver's statements appeared to reaffirm Anand's principles. He remembered his father's message: it is not just the wealthy who will inherit the throne. He also remembered how difficult it was for him to study in the library while he was impoverished, and how exhausted his father was from earning money for him to travel to England till his death. Following that, Anand made up his mind. He issued flyers inviting anyone, particularly disadvantaged children, to study with him in order to gain admission to the IIT campus. In fact, Anand sold his valuable watches, automobiles, and jewelry to fund a school. As a result, Supriya ended her relationship with Anand, who preferred to teach disadvantaged youngsters. Supriya, disappointed, tells Anand that his life will be ruined and that he will drown alone. Fortunately, it did not deter Anand's decision to wait for his potential students. Another scenario involves disadvantaged youngsters who saw leaflets advertising free schools. They did not squander the occasion. They are passionate and motivated, and no matter how far they have to travel, they continue to visit the area. Meanwhile, Anand had to choose from a large number of kids who had unexpectedly expressed an interest in attending his school. Anand will choose the top 30 children to teach, feed, and shelter. Anand also became acquainted with the selected pupils. Anand wanted to know where they lived, what their former employment were, and how they got to school. Anand also questioned what they planned to do once they arrived at the IIT campus. Meanwhile, Lalun was aware of Anand's plans to offer a free course. Even the students requested a return if Anand Kumar had not educated them. This prompted Lalun to visit Anand's school with the purpose of bringing Anand back to teach in his course. But Anand refuses to return, claiming that 30 children require him. Lalun even offered to increase the salary and pledged to locate another instructor for the underprivileged students. But Anand refused. Lalun is irritated and threatens to destroy Anand. He has even discouraged Anand's students. Anand reflected on Lalun's comments late at night. Since Lalun's arrival, they all appeared terrified and hopeless. Anand reassured them that there was nothing to be afraid about. Hunger, hardship, and near death have all been experienced. Anand stated that they also died when they were born into poverty. Anand asks his students to demonstrate that they too have the right to be successful and attain their goals. After hearing Anand's inspiration, the youngsters were re-energized. 2 months have gone. The parents threatened Lalun because he had already promised Anand that he would return to teaching. Despite the fact that Anand would not return, Lalun was threatened that if Anand quit teaching there, they would take all of the money back. Lalun then sent a police officer to harass Anand and ask him to close his school because he was thought to have damaged the market. He wanted payment from Anand. Of course, Anand rejected and stated that he would not pay anything because he did not have any money. However, he will not close the school. Anand's teaching style is quite unique. He always turns everything around them into a challenge to be solved. Of course, it is tied to science. For example, Anand instructed his students to compute the speed of a ball, the speed of a train, and equations using analogies from everyday life. Anand prefers to stimulate his pupils' imaginations in order to increase their creative style of thinking, so that they do not become engrossed in texts but instead comprehend the process. One day, Lalun and the police attempt to ruin Anand's school by turning off the electricity. However, Anand advised them to find a solution and generate their own electricity. Despite their limits, they can find solutions on their own and aren't overly reliant on Anand. Because they have a limited number of books, they are seeking for ways to teach everyone with just one. Surprisingly, instead of assisting Anand in earning extra money to buy books, they even built their own projector so that one book could be exhibited to be watched simultaneously. Anand was at war with Lalan, but he couldn't overcome hunger. They were unable to borrow money from the bank because the school was unprofitable and there were no assurances. As a result, Anand went to see Lalan with a heavy heart, hoping to obtain a monetary donation that would be used to feed his students. However, Lalan encourages Anand to compete. If Anand's pupil outperforms Lalan's best student, Lalan will provide free meals for 3 months. However, if Anand's kid loses, Anand will be forced to close his free school and return to teaching at Excellence Learning Center. They also reached an agreement in front of the witness, a mentor from Lalan's Course Institute. The next day, Anand and the Super 30 youngsters visited Excellence, Lalan's Learning Institute. They took the examination together. Then the next day they had to return to hear the test results. Lalan also welcomed several journalists. The mentor who oversaw yesterday's exam also arrived. Unexpectedly, this mentor turns out to be Supriya's new boyfriend. Of course, Anand was startled to see Supriya. Anand's younger brother, Pranav, notifies them that one of their students, Thuga, has gone missing, as has their money. To summarize, the mentor informed that Anand's school received just 49% of the total questions, compared to Excellence's 50%. As a result, Lalan won the gamble. He was overjoyed and called Anand on stage to announce that his school will be closed. Anand entered the stage with a smile on his face. All of the students had sorrowful faces, but as Anand was about to reply, a reporter shouted from behind him, asking whether it was true that Anand had to close his school, if there was an agreement, and if not, Anand didn't have to do it. Lalan confidently ordered the mentor, who was a witness, to show the agreement letter. But fortunately, the letter was not in his backpack, and it turned out that Supriya had assisted Anand in taking the paper, and then reporting it to the reporters. Supriya did this so that Anand didn't have to close the school. So Anand instantly stated that he would not close the school and left with his children. Anand returns from there and examines why the pupils are having difficulty answering the questions. They also stated that they could answer the most of the questions, but as they sat down, they felt their minds stop working due to fear. On the day of the exam yesterday, they had to share a room with children dressed in costly clothes with a tidy and clean appearance. However, their clothes were unsightly, making them feel inferior because they sat with children whose houses they might have cleaned or whose shoes they shined. Vinod, one of the pupils, speculated that this could have been the reason Fuga fled. Perhaps Fuga was gloomy about catching up, especially because they couldn't speak English. To address this, Anand cancelled teaching and learning activities for tomorrow because it is a holy day. Instead, Anand instructed them to do a 20-minute stage presentation in English. Anand even stated that everyone who utilized the Indian language would be asked to return to their respective locations. Pranav was perplexed by Anand's decision. How could he subject his students to such treatment? However, Anand argued that it was all he did to ensure their education. The next day, they performed in public. Despite their stammering, they take their acting seriously and use English speech. They were bullied at first, but together they were able to turn things around with a parody song that these wealthy children could understand and even dance to. In the end, on that day, Anand was able to deliver an important lesson. Even if their caste was different, they deserved equal rights. Anand and his pupils' acts were reported in the newspapers, which caused the Minister of Education, who had put his money in the course company with Lalan, to fear. The minister requested that Lalan address Anand's concerns and ensure that none of Anand's kids sat the IIT campus admission exam. In the evening, a reporter visited Anand. He arrived with an assassin, who informed him that there was a monetary reward for anyone who wanted to assassinate Anand. This man refuses to do so because he feels obligated to Anand's father. Since his imprisonment, Anand's father has always informed his mother that he works outside the city in order to keep his mother healthy. Pranav requests the police for assistance, but they reject, even saying that if fate wants someone to die, nothing more can be done. After returning from the police station, Pranav considered seeking for a weapon to protect his brother. Meanwhile, on his way to deliver food to his student, Anand was attacked by an unknown individual. Anand had a gunshot wound to the stomach, and just as he was about to be shot in the head, the pistol jammed, so they planned to put Anand on the railroad tracks, but Anand resists and Pranav arrives just in time, carrying the gun stolen at the carnival. Fuga, one of Anand's students who ran away, returns to work as a security guard. Coincidentally, where Fuga works, Lalan and the assassins are meeting to discuss plans to attack Anand, since the previous attempt failed. They intend to arrive in bunches to make it appear that it was an attack by a radical organization. Their objective is not simply Anand but all of his students. Fuga then hurried to the hospital and informed him of the situation. He apologizes for being gloomy about competing with wealthy children. Anand receives immediate care, and his students, along with Pranav, secure the hospital and combat the armed assassins using what they've learned. They even manage to lock the assassins in a room, allowing Anand to be handled safely and efficiently. The students slept at the IIT campus entrance the morning after the incident. They felt ready that morning, despite their tiredness after fighting the assassins the night before. After a few days, the test results were announced. While waiting, Anand asked his pupils to remember their parents at home, how their parents struggled while being poor, but yet tried to support them, and how they all struggled to be able to come to school to learn, to alter their family's economic fates through education. The test results are posted and can be viewed by participants. Anand was hammering with dread for his students. How many of them will come to campus and how many will return to their nasty jobs? Pranav then reported that Anand had successfully brought 30 of his students to the IIT campus. They all got into their preferred campus. Anand Kumar has not only produced 30 genius children at once, but he has also transformed thousands of others, since when a child learns, the entire family benefits, and each generation can have even better prospects. Super 30 was named the greatest school in Asia by Time magazine in 2010, and one of the most innovative schools in the world. President Obama's envoy at the time lauded Super 30 as the best school in India. Anand continues to teach in the same building where he began educating disadvantaged youngsters. He resists government aid and prefers his own style. Yet he and his family continue to face threats. Anand accomplished all of this not for money or luxury. He was willing to give it all up to shatter the convention that only wealthy people can attend high school and pursue careers in India. However, poor people have the right to change their lives through education, as Anand believes that education is the only path out of hardship and poverty.